Whenever I try to see my son, I feel like I have to like walk on eggshells. I like have no help. Anytime they offer for me to see him on extra days, I don't have daycare. I don't have childcare. I have no family to watch my other two kids.
When she was up at my grandparents', they had told me a little bit about her visitations, that she was playing on her phone the whole time. They basically watched all of the kids, including her own two that she had brought over. The last time she had visited, she asked if she could have the Wi-Fi password so she could just play on her phone instead of having interaction with her son. I just feel like I'm kind of being targeted. I get they're the opposing side. They're going to try and dig dirt on me.
All right, Miller and Amosquita. Miss Amosquita, can you just unmute so I can make sure that you're hearing us and are there?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I did receive a last minute response from Mr. Miller, and it was looks like his grandparents. And then there was another statement, but I'm going to show you kind of what I received.
Yeah, I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I can't. It's
Oh,
so light,
yeah.
I can't read it. So I don't know whom it even is from, what it's talking about. I did read the other one. Here's where we're at. So I reviewed all your protection orders. I reviewed everything that's going on. So the protection orders that in regards to Mr. Miller and the protection order in regards to Miss Amosquita's partner are gone and over with. I didn't notice that there were any requests to re-up either of those. And then we have Miss Amosquita's protection order is up on the 6th of March, 2024. At this point, in the very brief conversation that I had with Miss Amosquita last week, she indicated that she has not taken any steps at this point to try to change that protection order. When I reviewed that protection order, it does not have an allowance in that protection order to allow for family law to trump that order.
Okay.
So basically what that means is if I were to enter a parenting plan today and Miss Amosquita is around the wrong people that are like the people that are protected, there still could be a violation of the protection order because that protection order is still in place at least until March 6th.
Okay.
So I've expressed to both of you on multiple occasions my frustration that we got to a trial setting before a lot of things happened.
Right.
So this case has kind of been drawn out a lot longer than I would otherwise hope, and I'm sure than that both of you hoped. I'm pulling up that protection order just so I can look at it again while I'm
I did want to bring one thing up when you're done.
Of course. So the protection order was entered on March 6th and it's good until March 6th, 2024.
Okay.
Here's kind of so there's two things that could happen. The first thing is my thought was because that order is what it is, and I don't have the authority in this case to change that order, that this is set for entry of a parenting plan as soon as this expires. And that's assuming that there's not a request for it to be reissued or any issues that way. The other thing is that Miss Amosquita can always petition to have that protection order amended to allow for, because right now all it allows for is supervised visitation and electronic communication.
Right. May I say something, Your Honor?
You can.
So the whole point in the protection order isn't really revolved around Miss Amosquita. It's revolved around the person that showed signs of abuse towards my son. So the supervised visitation is really to try and protect him from Miss Amosquita's boyfriend that had left marks on his arms and repeatedly showed abuse signs. So the only reason for the supervised visitation really is just to keep him away from Chaddock, because Chaddock resides in the home. And that is something my son has been very vocal about, even in the supervised visitations. That was a part of the statement that you can't read very well. It was written in handwriting, and the copies kind of blurred it out. that was kind of a statement from my mother, the one that was originally doing the supervised visitations. And in the statement, it had stated that he was very vocal about being scared to go see his mom as long as Mike was around. So my only worry is him going back and having any sort of contact with somebody that has abused him, that has showed signs that he is scared of being over there. He's gone through quite a few different routes in school for therapy. He has been doing well in school, but the one thing he's been very vocal about is going back to that house and being around just that one person. His mom is not the issue in this case at all.
Okay. Miss Amosquita, you wanted to say something as well?
Yeah, when I go see my son, it's been difficult because of Mr. Miller's mom dropping on me that she started working and I had to figure it out. So I had to go with his grandparents, and they let me see him when they have him. And I've asked for more days to visit, but he told me he can't because he's working all the time and I don't have a way to see him. I tried calling before, but I just gave up on trying to call, except when he's at the grandparents' house because of his work schedule. And then Mike's been going to the court-ordered DV classes. I don't know, has Mr. Miller been going to the court-ordered DV classes? Because I would like to know if he started those or not. Because Mike's been going for quite a few months now. And when I go see my son, he doesn't even bring up Mike's name at all. Like, when I saw him Christmas Eve, he doesn't even remember who Mike is. Like, he never mentions him when I'm around. And when I got his report card, it was kind of bad because it showed all ones, and his grandma didn't even get his report card till I showed her. And like, I've discussed school with his grandma and some other stuff that's concerning because his behavior is still, he still acts out. If he's not like taking his medicine, because when I went up there Christmas Eve, he was very acting up, like, just, you could tell he was like not on medicine, because normally when he takes his medicine, he's calm and very attentive, but he was all over the place and was just like a wild. And he doesn't listen to me. Like, when I try to talk to him, like when I'm trying to have a conversation with him, he won't pay attention to me. So like, I feel like I can't really try to communicate with him that well when I try to talk to him, my son. And I feel like I have no say when I'm trying to talk to him, because like the grandparents always like say stuff for him, or like I feel like I can't tell him stuff, or I'll get like judged, or like his grandparents, because of the way he was acting, told me to spank him, and I told him I'm not touching him. I don't want to spank him. I don't want to get that thrown at me and thrown under the bus, because I just feel like I can't do anything with my son, or they're just gonna write statements about me saying I'm a bad person. So I just kind of feel like I'm in a bad spot right now. Whenever I try to see my son, I feel like I have to like walk on eggshells, because pretty much they can say whatever they want about me. And like, I really want to see my son, but I like have no help. Anytime they offer for me to see him on extra days, I don't have daycare. I don't have childcare. I have no family to watch my other two kids. And I've told that to his grandparents, and they're like, oh well. So it's been kind of difficult for me.
May I say something, Your Honor? May I respond?
Yes, let me
Okay.
respond first. I appreciate that, Miss Amosquita, and I understand the difficulty here, and I'm going to address hopefully some of those concerns today. I don't know that we can address everything today, but I appreciate your comments. Mr. Miller, go ahead.
First off, my grandparents are, when they do have him, she is available any day to go up unless they're out of town or something. But the whole reason they took over custody was because Miss Amosquita had stated to my mother, the one doing the supervised visitation before, that the only day she had available was Friday. and it was at 4 to 5 o'clock, and she would leave by 6. She only took 2 hours to see her son. When she was up at my grandparents', they had told me a little bit about her visitations, that she was playing on her phone the whole time. They basically watched all the kids, including her own two that she had brought over. That the last time she had visited, she asked if she could have the Wi-Fi password so she could just play on her phone instead of having interaction with her son. And my grandfather had told her that he wanted her to interact with her son more rather than play on her phone, and instead went and laid on my grandparents' couch and took a nap. Now, I understand she's a mom. I know it gets hard, but only taking 2 hours a week to see your son when you have available 8, she has not reached out, and they have encouraged her to try and see her son more. She has made the statement that either she's busy or she's working. And she's only said the only day she can do is Friday for 1 to 2 hours. That is all she's taken upon. The last 2 months, she has not tried to call her son. And to me, it seems that she doesn't want to have it. When she does see her son, she's not having interaction with him. Instead, my grandparents basically are watching all the kids the whole time. As for the spanking comment, I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that's a true statement. They wouldn't say something like that. So my grandparents, they took over to make sure that she could still see her son. They are retired. They do not have jobs. And if she called ahead of time and let them know, hey, I want to see him more days, she is more than welcome to take up the available 8 hours a week that she has available, but she has not taken up that opportunity.
All right. Well, I'm not concerned. I think if you were in the same situation with your work schedule, it would be hard to navigate 8 hours of visitation a week.
Right.
So I think we have to be honest and occasionally look at the situation from the perspective of the other party. Miss Amosquita is kind of in I think you're pretty well aware, as is the court, of her familial history and what she's dealing with there, not to mention these, what's going on in this case. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure your child wants to spend more time with mom, and I'm sure mom wants to spend more time with child.
Yes.
Being under the purview, if you were being supervised by only her family, it probably would be uncomfortable, even over an extended period of time. Even though I know, and my recollection is that you both have been a part of each other's life for a substantial period of time, and even when you were teenagers, and so I understand she's close with your family, but it's still I'm sure she feels like she's under the microscope. So I'm not really concerned about the timing of all this. It's got to be hard to navigate. Miss Amosquita, I would hope, would take as much time as she could get, because we're still sort of under the same order that we've been under. So up to 8 hours a week of visitation.
I just wanted to make the court aware that she does have access to more time. Seems that, she's stating that they're denying her access. They are not denying her access. She can take any time she wants. She just needs to let them know ahead of time.
Okay. I'm looking at and I'm going to ask, so I know, Mr. Miller, you did submit your evaluation as ordered by the court, your DV evaluation. It does suggest 9 months of treatment with 1 class a week. Have you been following through with that?
That I did call the place. They had no available spots. I know pertaining the case with them bringing up the assault charge and the trespassing, I was found innocent on all charges. Did
those go to trial? That was something that happened post. Okay.
Yes. Right. And I was found innocent on all charges. Their stories did not line up. I don't believe there's a need really for me to go. I just feel like I'm kind of being targeted. I get they're the opposing side. They're going to try and dig dirt on me. But I just don't don't see the reasoning behind it. I feel I have no restraining orders on me saying I'm abusive. I've never been arrested for abuse, nothing like that. So I don't really understand the findings of having to take 9 months of DV evaluations.
You weren't ordered. You were ordered to do the evaluation. I was just inquiring whether you followed through with the suggestion in the evaluation for treatment.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
And it sounds like Miss Amosquita, you're indicating that Mr. Chaddock has followed through with, I think he was, it was a 6 months of treatment is what he was, what was suggested in his evaluation, and he has been doing that. Is that what you're?
Yeah, because we were under the assumption that everything was court ordered, so he did it to follow the order.
Okay. It was ordered, the evaluation was ordered, and to provide the results, there wasn't a direct order to follow through with the recommended treatment. Given, I think it's appropriate that he did that, and I think that's a good thing that he did that. With this, the more I look at the protection order, and it sounds like potentially Mr. Miller may be agreeable to this, but Miss Amosquita, with this order in place, if I enter a parenting plan, it's really not going to do any good until March 6th. Specifically prohibits you from having direct contact that's not supervised with your child. So if I were to change the parenting plan at this point, it could, arguably could set you up for a violation. And I don't know if Mr. Miller is willing to, if you were to file a motion to amend the protection order that's currently in place for the next 3 months approximately, to allow for unsupervised visitation, then we could move forward in getting a kind of a more stabilized parenting plan in place. I understand that Mr. Miller still has reservations about Mr. Chaddock. And the order that at this point is that any visitation that Mr. Chaddock not be a part of that, and that would remain in place because that's in the parenting plan case, not in the protection order case, and would allow you to just have your child go on an outing, do what you wanted to do without Mr. Chaddock, and just have some one-on-one time with your child. But given where we're at, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to set you up for a violation in that other cause number. So I can't give legal advice. I'm suggesting that maybe you speak with Mr. Miller about what he's comfortable with until that order is gone, as far as like maybe amending it to allow for contact with the child as long as Mr. Chaddock isn't present. Otherwise, my best suggestion, given the status of this case and that all protection orders besides this final one have now lapsed, would be to set this for review on March 6, 2024 at 9 a.m. for entry of a parenting plan, because that would be the date that the protection order exhausts itself.
Can I ask something?
Mm-hmm.
So I know, like, when I tried to fight it, the judge or commissioner didn't really want to listen to me because
Are you talking about the protection order?
Yeah, for the protection order I had.
All right.
So I didn't think there was a reason to try to fight it because I didn't have an attorney to help me with it, and I can't afford an attorney to help me fight it. And if I was to do that, like, what if he decides to go put another protection order on me or Mike? Like, I can't stop him from doing that. And then I can't stop him from, like, having his family say more stuff about me. Like, I'm kind of at a, like, I don't really know what to do because, like, I feel like anything I do, even if I, like, fight the protection order and get, like, able to see my son, I feel like he'll just go around and start saying stuff again and have even more problems in the future. I just don't know what to do.
Well, I can't give legal advice. What I would suggest, however, is that you get some kind of a, you're allowed to, the protection order allows you to talk to, hold on, let me just bring this up again, because I don't want to misquote it, but it allows for electronic communications between the adults regarding the welfare, and visitation of the child. So that says via a family app. Do you guys have Our Family Wizard, or is it
Yeah.
Our
I
Family
still
Wizard?
have it. I
Okay.
don't know when it comes out again because I don't know when it comes out of my account for paying it.
Okay, you should be able to do the free version for at least message exchanges. The paid version has calendaring and all that other stuff, but the protection order allows electronic communication in the family app for welfare and visitation. What I'd like to see, and is an attempt at communicating to schedule sort of a regular visitation while this protection order is pending, and see if, because I'm not going to negotiate this in open court on YouTube. But I would like to see if there can be maybe an agreement on how to move forward. My thoughts and my hope is that Mr. Miller wants you to be a part of your child's life.
I do.
But it's just a matter of how we can make that happen and alleviate the concerns he has about your current partner. And maybe showing him what your current partner is doing as part of that evaluation would be helpful to him. That he's taken that seriously and has taken steps to address those concerns. But I think what I am going to do, so Kaylee, if we could set this, and I hate that there's not a conclusion for you folks, because I think that would be really in your best interest. But I don't, as I already explained, I don't want to enter a parenting plan now that isn't going to work. So I'm going to set this to March 6th, 2024, 9:00 a.m. That's the pro se docket. So that's a docket specifically for folks that don't have attorneys. You can, Miss Amosquita on Mondays and Mr. Miller on Mondays at the Hall of Justice here in Counts County on the second floor. And I think they're not starting back up until maybe the 22nd of January. I'm not entirely sure. So I think the 15th, is it 22nd? Yes. Thank you, Kaylee. The 22nd of January, I think, is they're starting back up from noon to 2 p.m. There are attorneys that are that help people that need information about how to do paperwork or what they can do and not do. So I encourage you to come to the Hall of Justice on a Monday and see if you can meet with one of those individuals and get maybe the legal advice I can't give you in this case, to see how you can be prepared for a plan that everyone can work with, that hopefully can get entered in March. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And if there's an agreement to amend that protection order, and you file something, on the protection order docket to do that, and if there's an agreed parenting plan that the two of you can be comfortable with, you can always enter it sooner than that. Okay. But I encourage you to reach out to the attorneys that are volunteering on our and Miss Amosquita, they can talk to you about the protection order portion as well. So it's not just a family law. They do kind of all sorts of different things. So and it's starting back up on Monday the 22nd. Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll set a review for March 6th, 9 a.m. That's going to be the pro se family law docket.
Okay.
And my hope is that we have a proposed parenting plan at that point, and both of you can file your own proposed parenting plan, and we can kind of move forward from and get some kind of consistency in visitations for this young man.
What day again?
Wednesday, March 6th, 2024, 9:00 a.m. And like I said, if something happens with the protection order prior to that and there's an agreement, you can always move that date up.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
please communicate via that app to try to get some stuff set up. And Miss Amosquita, please utilize as much visitation as you can. It's important to keep that connection. That being said, I know your concerns and I know your frustrations, and I appreciate Mr. Miller's as well. So, all right.
All right. Thank
All
you,
right.
Gunnar.
Good luck to you both.
Was there at least one instance in which a person with whom she was in a dating relationship physically assaulted you?
That is correct.
And can you describe what happened when I assaulted, or I guess whenever you say I attacked your partner,